increase that further. At the same time, on the other side, you have the unions saying they want decent wages. Then we get to this point, big business is offered now to pay increased fees to Transnet, hoping this will go some way in curbing the wage strikes. There's also an additional so-called strike avoidance levy, which businesses have offered to pay. And that's because, as I said, the economic damage at port operations is still stalling, and that consequence or implications are mounting. Well, let's bring in Business Unity South Africa President Bonang Mohale. And Tata Mohale, thanks very much as always for joining us. I want to get straight into what business is offering here, because of course your members, big business, is no doubt suffocating as the ports become crippled. Tell us a bit more about this offer to increase container fees to Transnet. Where's this coming from?
Devin, thank you for having us. So firstly, it's consistent with business commitment to put their shoulder to the wheel in ensuring that we fix the economy and indeed this country. If South Africa is going to work, it's because business will make South Africa work. So some of our customers, not the whole of BUSA, in the terminal container businesses have said, if the Transnet employees don't go on strike, as a way of recognition, they will offer to pay this strike avoidance levy for a period of no more than 5 months, while the negotiations are still continuing with the whole Transnet group. Those of our members who have offered this, it's in recognition that the economy is already on its knees. Transnet is the backbone of the infrastructure of this country. It moves goods primarily from the coast to inland, where Gauteng is almost 30% of the national GDP, KwaZulu-Natal 16%, and rapidly coming down because of the behavior of that province. And then the Western Cape at 14%, rapidly coming up purely because of the failures in KwaZulu-Natal. So Devin, when you look at it, that we are facing FATF in the eyes, where for the last 2 years they've been asking us to be fully compliant and we are struggling. KwaZulu-Natal floods 2.0, the 2 weeks in July, the construction mafias, the increased energy costs, and of course the pandemic, and as if that's not enough, the downgrades because we are still below investment grade, and of course the low GDP growth. If I can share some very crude arithmetic, I mean, if the interest rate, and I'll round off the numbers, is 8% and CPI is 6%, it stands to reason that the GDP growth has to be 2% just to stand still. Yes. The economists tell us that this year, all things being considered, if we don't do any self-harm, self-inflicted pain, the economy will grow at 1.9%. So we are already in the spot of bother. I think this is the time where the president was asking us to seriously consider a social compact where Labour will say, in the interest of South Africa Inc., will suspend going on strike probably for the next 5 years. Yep. Business will say, we promise not to retrench any workers. Government will then promise to stop state capture, looting, and focus on service delivery. And if we did that and came up with a social compact, this issue that is facing Transnet now would not be facing us. The loss to the economy in general is 8 billion a day.
Yeah, can I just come in there? Apologies for the intervention there. What did Transnet say and how have they reacted to this help from business to go ahead and up some of those fees you're paying for containers and the strike avoidant fee? What's been Transnet's response to that? And how do you expect that little extra money to help the situation we're currently faced with?
Is to compensate the workers for the monies they could have lost in the interim period. And of course, Transnet has welcomed this. They've immediately written to our members to say it's welcome. They will start charging it from the 1st of October until the 31st of March for a full 5 months period. This puts an extra 148 rand per container on to Transnet's books, and I'm talking about Transnet's Port Terminals Authority here. And Devin, I think we haven't even spoken about the devastation that is being caused by load shedding. and the increased cost to businesses. So this economy is really on its knees. I mean, at stage 4, the economy is already losing up to 3 billion a day. At stage 6, that number jumps up to 4 billion. So you can see that I think we welcome the intervention of the Minister of Public Enterprises and Department of Labor, because this is the time when leadership is urgently required. Devin?
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to quickly leave it there just because in the interest of time. But thanks very much indeed for setting that context for us there. That's the BUSA President Bonang Mohale. They're just reacting and telling us a little bit more about businesses' intervention in the hope to actually end this very crippling strike at Transnet. Thanks very much indeed for your time. Let's log on to the markets now. The markets are not doing too shabby.